Hi, this is Lorraine.
And Jennifer.
And in this episode, we're going to give away free kittens.
Ooh, I love kittens.
You know what? Everybody does. And maybe the promise of kittens is a little bit of an exaggeration, but it leads me to a story.
Yes, tell us the story. This is a good one. You told me a little bit about it.
So, years ago, we had been running social media for my seminars, and we had several different standard formats, blah, blah, blah. And after a while, they were just getting ignored. And so we were
Yeah.
kicking around ideas on what we could do to kind of shake it up. And Jenna, my graphic designer, said, well, why don't we offer them free kittens? I'm like, well, we're not going to give away kittens. And she's like, no, but we can have the picture of the kittens, and then we can have in the footnote that they'll be able to play with our office cats because we do the classes at the office.
Yeah.
And I thought the graphic was really cute. I thought it would be really fun, but I got a little nervous and I thought, well, maybe we should do a traditional one. And we tested both the traditional and the free kittens on Facebook and LinkedIn. And the results were surprising.
I think as a marketer, I don't know if I will be that surprised, but I bet to the common person, it would be pretty surprising.
Well, even as a marketer, I was kind of surprised at how well the kittens did on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I had been afraid that maybe it was a little too silly, but LinkedIn loved it. And interestingly, on Facebook, the kittens didn't do as well because I was competing with tons of other kittens.
To me, I think that like is second nature of trying to always be different. I feel like I'm this person that doesn't want to do what everybody else is doing, and so that's why it worked. You're not used to seeing LinkedIn, like seeing kittens or something off the wall, and I think that really plays into not following the leader.
Mhm. Ab- Absolutely. And I think the other thing was it wasn't that we were just not following the leader. We were doing something that was fun, but very true to us.
Yes.
You know, the at that time the Roundhead brand was interlaced with our office cats. They had their own Facebook page, they had their
Yeah.
own LinkedIn
Yeah.
pages, and
Yeah.
so we could do that and it would still feel like us. It didn't feel like what the who is this?
And that's important when you're trying to get that like shock element. When you try to go too far from what your brand actually is, like you're confusing people even more. And
Mhm.
so you do need to do some shock value, but how can you tie it into your brand? That's an important point, I think.
And I think the challenge is that this is your brand. And you have to recognize that you can stretch a little bit this way, a little bit this way, a little and a little. But you
Yeah.
can't go like all the way over here, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so finding the ways to push the boundaries a little bit and how far you can push.
Yeah. Yeah. I had somebody ask me this question on one of my recent shows on LinkedIn because they were asking about, pushing the story on cultural relevance
Mhm.
with your brand. And I'm like, ooh, that's a tough one because if you go too far down a certain culture, you could be alienating maybe another culture, but maybe that's okay because it aligns with your brand. Like, I don't think I can give you like a straightforward formula of, yeah, you should or should not do that.
I think the subject of cultural references, relevance, and memes, kind of that trying
Yeah.
to stay current. One of the first rules is how nimble are you?
Hmm.
If you can be in the moment just as it's starting to bubble up and you have the creative team on hand and you can get the content out there, it's a great play.
Yeah.
But if your content requires 4 levels of approval,
Yeah.
if your graphic designer is only available 2 days a week, and this
Mhm.
isn't one of those days,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
jumping on a meme might not work for you.
Yeah, I think you're taking it from a timing standpoint. Like,
Mhm.
can you be in there in the right time? I'm thinking of more of sometimes jumping on different trends might not be the greatest
Mhm.
marketing play and could really get you in hot water. I'm not telling you to play it safe all the time, but there's a fine line between what do you jump on and what do you not, because does it tie with your brand?
And that's really critical is you as a business owner, you have your values,
Mm-hmm.
and your values should influence your company, but you have to recognize that your company is more, well, if you have employees, your company is more than you.
Yeah.
And so when you put something out under the company umbrella, not your personal umbrella, does it really represent everybody in the company? And then the other thing is upsides and downsides. And you kind of alluded to that. Maybe that will connect you to one community. Will it alienate you from another? And does it matter? Is it okay if people who would never buy from me anyway don't like what I said? Yeah,
I'm
I'm okay
I'm
with
gonna
that.
poke the bear. You know, right now we have an election coming up. Do you as a company side with one side or the other? I've seen some people do this and I've seen it backlash, and I have an opinion. I'm a no. I don't know what your opinion is, but
I was always religion and politics. Keep it out of my business.
mhm.
Just keep it out of my business. I had employees who were on very different sides of a
Yeah.
lot of discussions, and
Yeah.
so we had a lot of healthy respect in the office. But I couldn't see an upside. But there was a time. There was one issue in Indiana that I felt, and I'm not even going to go there, but I felt
You
that
felt it was
this,
part of your brand.
well, I felt like this was so wrong.
Yeah.
And even though I knew it was going to offend some of my customers, my prospects, I felt like in that moment,
Yeah.
my values were more important to me than a sale.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw some tacky marketing lately where like maybe somebody sided with one party or the other in an email, and then I saw 6 months later where they talked about how the CEO got fired for
Mhm,
being on one side or the other, and I was like, oh wow, like
mhm.
that's a major turbulence. Was that a great idea? Hindsight.
I think, you know, um, big businesses will very often take sides in elections because they feel like if that candidate wins, it's going to benefit them. And so
Yeah,
they,
there's pull there, like political. Yeah, I get that.
but for the average small business owner, quite honestly, there are advantages if one person wins or the other. But depending on where you're located, depending on the market that you serve, um, I typically kept a low profile about my own political views until a candidate came into my office and wanted me to build a website. And I looked at his platform and I said, I can't.
Yeah, I
And
don't
he's
do
like,
anything political. I
"Well,
stay out of it, marketing wise, anyways.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and we did do some fun um, blog posts back in the day of looking at political campaigns, at political logos, and we made sure that we presented a very balanced,
Yeah,
very nuanced, very balanced conversation, because I do think that you can learn a lot from political marketing,
yeah. Oh
good
yeah.
political advertising. And I know we're off the topic a little bit of standing out in the field, but I think it's really important to figure out where is that line for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm,
I mean, I think, taking it back to the beginning of the show is that we're fighting with lots and lots and lots of content being pushed out at
mhm.
exponentially faster rates. And so I think you do need to not just like do the same thing over and over, because if you do, then you're never going to get anybody's attention.
Mm-mm.
And just like we talked about on the last show, like that's the first thing you have to do, and it's marketing 101, is get somebody's attention.
Mhm.
And so if you can't do that, it doesn't matter everything else that you did. You have to get their attention.
Absolutely. And so we hope that today's conversation got your attention. If you'd like some help with your visuals or your messaging, schedule an office hours with us. We would love to chat with you.
All right, take care.
See ya.